And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have ever thought about liking this country this much. So yeah, this is a book I wrote. Took me like 1 year. I wrote it completely here. I started it when I was in Mombasa. I continued when I was in Nairobi. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm really happy that this is happening in Mombasa, that my first book launch is in Mombasa, because I have a lot of, I always say I was born in Rwanda and then I was born again in Mombasa. It's a city where I discovered myself, which gave me another purpose, and the people here really changed my perspective. I really discovered humanity and kindness, so which really changed me on another level. So I'm really glad to be here, and I'm glad that it is Lorna with Heroe book, because really Lorna believed in this book before it was even, I think I was on like 30 pages, and she was like, please tell me when the book is finished. And I was, this person is telling me to tell her when the book is. I don't know even if I will finish ever this book. But she was like, please tell me when the book is finished. So it is really, really a very big time for me. And I'm very glad to be here and to share the experience.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, the first time I met Patrick, I was introduced to Patrick by the previous Alliance Francaise director, and he told me, talk to this guy, he's writing a book. So I remember we had a really long conversation, and at the time I was really telling him we were trying to find a publisher for the book. So we are trying to see who is publishing in French, because he was writing in French. And I was so excited when the book got finished, and I see, oh, he finally got a publisher, and it's a French publisher, because it's a Francophone literature. And the title is actually interesting, Quoi encore, which means what again, what now, what else? You know, French is interesting. You say what again, but that's not really the meaning. It's direct translation. So what now, what else? I would like to ask, what made you come up with this specific title for this memoir?
Okay, I always like to say that I lived a life of 200 kilometers per hour. So since I know what life is, it was really no rest. Every day you wake up, it's very fast. So this title, it was a word that I ended up using a lot especially when between 2013 and 2019. Okay, I will say from 2008, I was working in a hotel called Shelando, and that time I had a lot of functions. You are the marketing manager, you are the front desk manager, you are also the manager of apartments. Then at a certain point, I also started my own company. So I had like 2 shops. Then you are also at the hotel. Then you are, and then I never say no to an adventure. So whenever someone tells me this is something we can do, I always say, okay, let's go. So I also, at that time, I also did an Airbnb. So it was like if you are in one city, but you are managing like 10 different things. So sometimes I was so tired that when I see, and you know, if for someone who have worked in a hotel, it's never a restful, especially when you're even managing apartments. There is electricity, so like in one place it is resolved, in another place there is no electricity at 2 a.m. They call you at 2 a.m. Patrick, no electricity. So my phone was like every day ringing, and I ended up like whenever they call me, I'm like, what now? What is happening now? So I was always using like quoi encore, but it was also quoi encore in French. So I was like, what quoi encore now? So my colleagues were used like Because I was like always expecting there is something that is not. Then after that came out even to my life, because the life also was like, for example, like when I had a graduation, for me it was a very big day, because my mom really, after the genocide, we survived with nothing. She really did her best to give me a good education. She really tried. So for me, when I finished, and in the university, I was mixing studies and work, which was not even very easy because work was in Kigali, university was in Butare, so it was like 2 hours drive. So when I finally finished, I never celebrated like a birthday party or something after the genocide. So for me, it was the first time we are having an event at our place. We are inviting everyone, not for a party. Because after the genocide, we were always inviting people, but for burial. Today we have discovered the body of dad, we call people, they come to. Today we have discovered bodies of our brothers, we call people. Today, so those was like in 95. Some years ago now, because in 95 we didn't have means, we have now to move the bodies from the improper burial we have done to a proper burial. So you invite again people to, so for me, I remember I told my mom, this is the first time we are inviting all our friends, all our people who knew us after the genocide, for a happy event. And I was so excited. So we went, we did the celebrations. It was 2 hours drive from, on our way back, we had an accident, a very tough accident, so the car was totally crashed and we survived. But I remember when I went out of the car, I don't know why I was not even feeling that I will die. During the accident, I was feeling that the car was doing like this, but I was feeling, yeah, it will end up stopping. And we were going down the hill. But when it stopped and I went out, I'm still wearing my whatever. People are at home, they are waiting for us, they don't know what is happening. I said, what is Kwango? I remember it is the it is the thing. I said, what is this? What now? I can't have a break. I can't, it's like a totally chaotic life, which is full like of. So that's why like this title in my mind, it came in because actually even when I was writing this book, I never thought that it would be published. I was saying there would be something. When I wrote, I finished, and I was like, I remember Lorna was sending me writers, like publishers, and I was like, do I send this? Will it work? So it was really I gave it this title because it was really like, what is now? But I am glad that since I finished this book, it was like, this question was like, what now? Actually, when I finished this book, I asked myself, okay, I finished writing, it is published, what now? Because I felt like I don't have any other purpose after this. It was because it's so, that is okay for the title.
Yeah. And this book is an interesting book because when you start reading it, he starts writing this book in 2019 December in Mombasa. And one thing we need to know about Patrick is that he started his first business at age 11. Yeah? And he had this little shop that was selling beignet, like mandas beignet in French, savon, soap in French, and I think candles or something else. Yeah, so he started the business over the school holiday. Yeah, and I was very like, wow, that a class 6 child, because 11 years, class 6 also in Kenya, would think of a business on a school holiday, and then when he goes back to school, leaves somebody running the business for him. And I would just like to ask you, Patrick, where do you get your entrepreneurial spirit from? Is it from your parents, or is it just a fire in you?
Okay, I always say that God gave me a mind. I like my brain, but at a certain point I hate it because it never rests. Whenever I tell you, whenever when I am driving, when I'm in a bus from, I remember when I came to Mombasa, I was really not in a position of someone who can think about anything. But on my way, I already booked like 10 hotels. I can see a place and I'm like, wow, this place you can put a hotel, you can put a car shop, you can put a whatever. When a bus stop and we are buying like those bus stops where you buy, whenever I enter in a restaurant, I say they should put this, I think you can add this, you can. So it's like that. I think it comes first from my, I think from my parents, because my mom always said that they didn't have a chance to do what they liked because of the history of our country, but they were teachers, but at a certain point, at their time, they were teachers doing business. So it was in their mind, but also I like to read. Since I am and that like that motivation from that first business, I got it from a book for scholars. It was a book for scholars, young kids, which shows one kid who was in a holiday started raising some small animals, and I was like, why can I sit here? So I started to just a business, and it got a boom in a very funny way because I went for an exposition, and they were giving us, like when you buy a soap, they give you like another soap as bonus. They were giving you like 5 small soaps as bonus. I bought 10 soaps, they gave me like 50 small soaps as bonus, and when I arrived home, I said, okay, I think many people don't know these small soaps. I started selling them at 20 bob. It was like 2 bob, 2 Kenya shillings. So actually those are the soaps that boosted my business because I was going every day, buying 10 soaps, getting the bonus. So the lady ended up discovering this guy. But I remember I was a kid. I honestly, I don't know how because when I go back, I even sometimes, but how did I think about that thing? Imagine I negotiated with that lady. I told her, okay, now instead of giving me at free of charge, give me at five Rwanda francs. She accepted. So we did a deal. I bought a lot of them, and I was selling them in the neighborhood. So that's what. But I am someone who like resilience. I hate asking. So even when I was a kid, I hate asking my mom for money, especially. So when I ask for someone a service, it is really when I know exactly they will give me a correct, because like I knew many people who are in like, for example, this book thing, but I asked Lorna because I knew it is someone who will give me a correct answer, who will not take me wrong. So that's when I think I started it because I wanted to get my own money, because I was tired like asking money for candles, asking money for whatever. And yeah, my first pocket money in the secondary school was from that business. Yeah.
And looking at this book, because when